Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and this is my channel where I like to do things related to makeup as well as entertainment. Today I'm going to be mixing the two, which is something I like to do as well, because I've already was going to be getting ready with using some of the new shadows from terramoon Cosmetic, as well as some of their other multi-chromes, as well as reaching into my Shop My Stash this month and getting into the Honey palette from Colourpop. This palette I sort of like. I've used it a couple times, but I do find it doesn't show up as well on my skin tone. But I'm going to go ahead and use it again today with these multi-chromes from Terramoon Cosmetics. Since we're already doing a get ready with me, I thought why not kill two birds with one stone, and I'll go ahead and review the Stepfather 2, which I have recently just watched for the first time. So I'm going to be doing a get ready with me with some makeup, looking at some of this, using some of this makeup on camera, but talking about the Stepfather 2. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you're interested in that, just keep on watching. The skin with my Pure 401 Correcting Primer, one of my favorite primers. It's very nice. It leaves my skin looking very like satiny, dewy, not too dewy, but very like ready for the foundation. And I've already primed my eyes with the J-Cat All About That base and the Nude Shadow Primer. So I'm going to do my eyes first as usual, and I'm going to hop into the Honey palette to start my base. I'll just use a nice blendy brush, and I'm going to make sure that's clean. Let's see, let's hop right into Stinger, which is that color right there. And then I'll go ahead and start talking about my view of the Stepfather. So like I said, I'm going to start with background information first. So the Stepfather, and I have some stuff written down here as well, and as well on my phone here. So if you see me looking down, that's why. So the Stepfather is a 1989 psychological slasher film. It is directed by Jeff Burr, and this one stars Terry O'Quinn again, which is, he's the same Stepfather from the first movie, so he's returning for the sequel. And he is also being, he's acting with, this time, Meg Foster, Caroline Williams, and Jonathan Brandis, which, I don't know if I've seen Meg Foster or anything. That name sounds so familiar. But Caroline Williams, she is from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. She played Stretch in that movie. And I just recently watched that one as well. I also just did a review on it, first time impression. So if you want to see that first time impression of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from this year, I will link that video up in the cards wherever it will be. You guys can click on that and watch that as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed watching Caroline Williams in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. So it was cool to see her in another movie. And then Jonathan Brandis is, he played Bill in the It 1990 miniseries. So that was really cool to see him as well, because I haven't seen him in anything else, I don't believe. I don't think so. So yeah, I've already seen plenty of these actors. So that's our cast. Terry O'Quinn again is playing the guy that is the Stepfather, who has many identities as he's on this quest to find, I guess, the perfect family. And then Meg Foster is playing a mom who is recently become a single mom, and she's raising her son, who is Jonathan Brandis' son, Todd. Jonathan Brandis is playing the son, Todd. And then Caroline Williams is playing the friend who happens to be a mail carrier. And so they're all basically, yeah, they're all connected some way. So what is the plot of this? Let's go ahead and go into the plot, which goes into kind of our background information, something we should know for this video. So basically, our Stepfather, I'll just call him Stepfather because he has so many names, he's being institutionalized in a home for the, mentally unsound. And he is he forms a relationship with his psychiatrist, and eventually this relationship he forms with the psychiatrist lets the psychiatrist let his guard down, and he ends up killing the psychiatrist and the guard and escaping. And so along the way of escaping, he kills, you know, some other people. Guys, I'm gonna have to rush this because I am being called to eat and my camera is dying. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into, I've already got the base down. I don't have a really deep look because with this palette from honey palette from Colourpop, I really can't get a deep look. So yeah, well, my skin tone, I can't really get a deep look, but I'm gonna go ahead and dip into some of my multi-chrome, dual-chrome shades from Terramoon Cosmetics. I think I'm gonna do just one shade all over the lid, and I'm leaning towards that since we can keep it kind of monochromatic, although sometimes even though it looks yellow in the pan, it might come off different on the eye. So let's just see what this does though. I'm gonna take a flat brush first and just dip it into there. You know what, I'm gonna put on some more primer. I'm gonna put on the Pretty Vulgar primer just because these are very glittery shades and they might need a little extra help to show up as well as stick, and I don't want to have a lot of fallout. So I'm going to use a little bit of that over the top of the yellow just to give us a stickier base. And let's go on in with this shade from Terramoon Cosmetics. Really beautiful. This shade is called Harvest. Awesome. So I have it on the brush there, and let's go in. Alright, so I went ahead and finished the other eye as well. Just something really simple. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into the face and try to hurry this up. So, alright, so we got, he's killed the psychiatrist. He's going to be taking on a new identity, and so the identity he's taking on is the identity of a deceased man named Gene Clifford. And so he moves to California in LA, and he's assuming this identity of this man Gene Clifford, and he's pretending to be a psychiatrist. So he starts sort of talking to all of the women in the neighborhood and sort of yeah, you know, talking to them as a psychiatrist when he's not even a psychiatrist. And within this group of women is the woman that sold him his house, Meg Foster, and she begins to start to like him. So she has this son. Her name in the movie is, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Her name in the movie is Carol. The actor is Meg Foster. So Carol is the one that sold him his house, and she has a son named Todd, who was played by Jonathan Brandis. And she is a recent single mom because her husband left her the year before. And so, yeah, she's struggling with that, but she's a single mom, and she starts to like Gene, who is our stepfather, who's, you know, we all know is crazy. So, yeah, they start sort of being in a relationship that he starts courting her, basically. And then all of a sudden, the husband comes back and he wants to get back together with the wife. And so this creates a whole issue for Gene, which is the stepfather. And so we see him start to kill again at this moment. Well, he's already killed a psychiatrist. He killed people before he got here, but he kills the husband, all kind of stuff. And as well as him being, you know, starting to crack at this new place, the friend, played by Caroline Williams, starts to become suspicious of him. And she is a mail carrier, so she looks through his mail and finds out that he, I'm not even going just the plot now, I'm just telling you the whole story, but let's go with it. Finds out that he is not who he says he is. So she finds this out, and she basically is like, he needs to tell the truth, which leads to all kind of things. So I'm not going to tell the rest of the story. I pretty much told a lot that already happened, but I'm going to stop there. But basically, he meets a new family, this mother and son, and he wants to, again, get married and have this portrayal of a perfect family. And of course, we know there's no such thing as a perfect family, and you know, it's pretty much a telltale sign that he's going to snap again, which he does. So that's the plot and everything. So let me go ahead and go into my opinion of this one. So part 2 is good. I just don't think it's as good as part 1. I think there's definitely some plot holes within this one. Like, for example, how did this man buy a house? I know he took over someone's identity, but did he get their credit and their cards and their bank account? I mean, I don't know how. It was the 80s. I'm pretty sure it might have been easier to just take over someone's life maybe back then, but I mean, this was 89, so. But yeah, so that's one thing I was like, okay, how did he buy a house? Like, buying a house is like pretty darn, you know, a lot of steps, and you had to show your ID and all this stuff. But again, I guess there are ways around that. There are still criminals that can do stuff like that too. But anyway, so then we continue on. I do think that the pacing of this one was a little strange, but it worked good enough for what it was trying to do. And another thing I think that kind of knocks this one down from the first one is basically it's almost a rehashing of the first one, except for we don't have a daughter, we have a son. It's almost the same exact thing. And instead of having the son be suspicious and the mom be suspicious, we have the friend is suspicious instead of the daughter from the first one. And yeah, so I think it's okay. Acting was okay, you know. Jonathan Brandis, Meg Foster, Terry O'Quinn, and Caroline Williams are all great actors. And we do get some decent scary parts with the kills and just how creepy the stepfather is. But I definitely say this one is not as good as the first one. Do I recommend it? Yeah. I would give it 1 thumbs up. I think it's still worth watching. I just don't think that it is as good as the first one. But as a sequel, it does what it does what it's supposed to do. You know, it has the returning villain. We get a decently good plot, and the acting's okay. So I would say 1 thumbs up for this one. I do recommend it. If you're gonna watch the first one, you might as well pop in the second one. It's not that bad. Definitely don't think it's on the level of, the first one though. And yeah, so that's my recommendation and opinion. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and do my highlight scene for this as I powder up my face. The highlight scene for me, I think, is definitely when Stretch tells him that she knows he's not the guy. It's more of a funny scene to me. And she's like, I found out that that's not who you are. Who are you really? And he's like, well, you don't know me. I could have changed. And she shows him a picture of the real Gene. And it's like, so yeah, as I was saying, sorry, camera keeps messing up. So as I was saying, the highlight scene is definitely when she confronts him and tells him she knows he's not Gene. And she shows him the picture of the real Gene. And it's like an African-American man, number one. And he's like tall and like the exact opposite. Well, I mean, Terry O'Quinn's pretty tall, but he's basically the exact opposite of this dude, and it's just hilarious because, yeah, he's like, you couldn't have changed that much. So I love that scene where she reveals that she knows he's not who he says he is, and I think that's the highlight scene of this movie. If you guys enjoyed this video, thank you. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and check out more videos on my channel. You have nothing to lose. Alright, guys, I have got to go. I've got to go get breakfast. You guys stay safe and peace out. Adios.